Hi and welcome. My students call me Miss Debbie. I've been a professional teacher for many years. I will show you some easy ways to do your math so it will truly be an easy and pleasant experience. This lesson is going to be about learning place value. We're going to start this lesson by filling out the place value chart. The decimal sits right here. The first column to the left of that will be the ones column. Then you have the 10, and then you have the hundreds column. Okay, this section isn't called anything. We just refer to it as the 1, 10s, hundreds. Every three numbers we put a comma, and then we have a new section. Okay, we will repeat this pattern 1, 10, 100, and it goes on for infinity. It goes on forever and ever. So we will have 1, 10, and then 100. Now this section here is called the thousand section. Okay, and it has 3 zeros. Okay, so this actually means 1,000, 10,000, 100,000. So it's a 1 with 3 zeros, a 10 with 3 zeros, and a 100 with 3 zeros. Okay, we'll repeat this pattern, 1, 10, 100, and after thousands we have millions. Okay, so it is 1 million, 10 million, 100 million, and million has 6 zeros, so we will put 6 zeros up here. So it's actually a 1 with 6 zeros, a 10 with 6 zeros, and a 100 with 6 zeros. Okay, let's put another comma in. Repeat the pattern, 1, 10, 100. And the next section after millions is billions. Okay, so we'll put a billion here. So you have 1 billion, 10 billion, 100 billion. And if you'll notice, there's 3, and then there's 6, and we're going up by 3 spaces, so this will end up having 9 zeros. So actually this is 1 with 9 zeros, which is 1 billion, a 10 with 9 zeros, which is 10 billion, and a 100 with 9 zeros, which is 100 billion. Okay, we have, again, remember the comma, and then we repeat the pattern, 1, 10, 100. And this next section is called trillion. Okay, and how many zeros are going to be there? If this is 3, 6, 9, yep, 12 zeros. So make sure you put 12 zeros in here. Okay, so it would be a 1 with 12 zeros, which would be 1 trillion, a 10 with 12 zeros, which would be 10 trillion, and a 100 with 12 zeros, which would be 100 trillion. The next section, remember your comma, 1, 10, 100, and this is just kind of for the fun of it because we don't usually use this section in mathematics, but it's fun for kids to learn. And so this is the quadrillion section. Okay. And if this was 3, 6, 9, 12, how many zeros are in quadrillion? And yes, it is 15 zeros. Yeah, don't you wish you had that much money? Okay, so that would be 1 with 15 zeros, which would be 1 quadrillion. This would be 10 quadrillion, and 100 with 15 zeros, which would be 100 quadrillion. Okay, now we're going to talk about the decimal point just briefly. It means the word and, A-N-D. That's the only time in mathematics when you should say and is when you get to that point. That way it lets you know that beyond this point you will have smaller numbers, smaller than one whole. If you think of numbers as dollars and cents, then this is whole dollars going this way and they get bigger and bigger and bigger. And if you go this way, it's like cents, and they keep getting smaller and smaller and smaller. This first column to the right of the decimal is called the tenths column. It's a 10 with a THS behind it. I have students actually think of it as the dimes column. If you can think of this as the dimes column, then you'll understand this portion of mathematics very well. The next one is the hundredths with a 100 and THS. If you think of this column as the penny column, then you'll have an understanding of its value. Okay, beyond that, you're getting smaller and smaller and smaller. Let me briefly just take a moment and explain that to you, how small it can get. Let's pretend this is a penny, okay? Now, well, actually, let's go back for a moment, because this is a dime, and if a dime has 10 pennies in it, this column to the right is worth one of those 10 pennies. So it's like we took the dime and divided it into 10 pieces, and we just took one of those pieces and made it into a penny, or just put the penny in that column. If you'll notice, it'll go down by that same ratio. That means that if I took a penny, okay, I cut it into 10 pieces, this next column is only going to be one of those pieces. So let's pretend this is 1 cent. And then I'm going to take one of those pieces, okay, just that one piece of the penny. Remember, I'm cutting this penny into 10 pieces. And that becomes this one right here. It's the thousand with the THS, thousandths column. So this is just a part, and we're just going to put a little part of a penny right there. And it is the thousandths. So I'm going to go to the side because I don't have a lot of room here. 1 with 3 zeros and THS. Okay? And we're only going to do one more column. If I take this little piece of this penny, okay, and I happen to cut that in 10 perfect pieces, which I won't, but if I did, one of those pieces now of that piece of penny right here becomes this next column. Now remember, it's a 1 with 1 zero, a 1 with 2 zeros, a 1 with 3 zeros. So our next column is a 1 with 4 zeros. Okay? And that's the 10 thousandths with the THS column. And it's worth one of these little tiny pieces. So if I took that piece of that penny and cut that into 10 pieces, I'd have this little tiny piece of a penny, and that would be 10 thousandths column. To purchase a copy of today's lesson along with 100 practice problems, visit my website at www.missdebbiescreations.com.
Material presented in this video is protected by copyright law. Permission to use may be purchased at missdebbiescreations.com.